Today's video, we'll be going through a basics physics review. This is going to be the first video in my physics series. Well, in this video, we're going through distance, displacement, speed, and velocity. And now you can see that the first question is asking us to find the total distance traveled. Well, we can see that we have a small path here from A to B. And at the bottom of this illustration, it says that each block is 2 meters by 2 meters, and it takes 30 seconds to complete the course. So we're going to use this same diagram or the same illustration for all 4 of our questions. Well, first question is asking us to find the total distance. Now, distance is the total movement of an object without direction. So that means we're just going to find the length that I traveled, or the total distance of this pathway. Well, if we know that each block is 2 meters by 2 meters, that means they're 2 wide and 2 long. So we know that this is 2 meters right here. This is 2 meters. This is 2 meters. And we're talking about this section, this section, this section. 2 meters, 2 meters, 2 meters, 2 meters. And since they're also 2 meters wide, we know that this much is 2 meters, this much is 2 meters, and etc. And they travel 2 here because this is covering this, and then this is covering this. So now if we add everything together, you'll get the total distance traveled. Another way you could do it is you can count how many 2's there are since everything is the same length. Now we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15 2's, or 15 blocks that we're going to cross. So we have 15 times 2 because this is the length. So we travel a total of 30 meters because we know each block is in meters. So the answer to number 1 is 30 meters. Let's go ahead and do number 2. Number 2 is asking us to find the displacement. Displacement is the change in position of an object. So basically, we want to see how far it traveled from the starting point, which is right here at A, to the ending point here at B. So let's go ahead and clear this up and then work out number 2. Now, for displacement, we basically want to find the straight line distance, meaning the shortest distance to get from A to B, which looks something like this. Well, we can see obviously that we can easily use Pythagorean theorem. And the way to do that is we're going to find our base length, our height, and then solve for our hypotenuse, which is this length from A to B. Well, if we know that each block is 2 meters, let's count how many blocks we have in our base. Let's go make an imaginary line right here. That's going to be the base of our triangle. So we can see that we have 1 block here, a 2nd block, 3rd block, 4th block, 5th, and 6th. We know our base is 6 blocks wide, and we know each block is 2, so 6 times 2 equals our base is 12 meters. So 12 meters is our base. And then now we need our height for Pythagorean theorem. Since Pythagorean theorem is a squared plus b squared equals c squared, c being the hypotenuse, a being the length, and b being the base. So for our height, we're going to do the same thing we just did for base. So we have 1 block, 2 block, 3 block, 4 block, and a 5th block. So we have 5 blocks in our height. Each block is 2. 5 times 2 equals 10. We have a height of 10 meters. So now, remember, it's a squared plus b squared equals c squared. C squared is your hypotenuse. This is going to be your base, and a is going to be your height. So let's substitute in our values. We have an a value of 10, so we have 10 squared plus b squared. B is 12, so 12 squared equals c squared. So we know we have 100 plus 144 equals c squared. 100 plus 144 equals 244 equals c squared. Take the square root of both sides. The square root of 244 is 2 square roots of 61, and that is our hypotenuse value. So 2 square roots of 61. And that is also our displacement. So our answer for displacement for number 2 is 2 square roots of 61. Now let's go ahead and look at number 3. Number 3 is asking us to find the average speed. Well, there's a basic equation that we should all know, which is that distance over time equals speed. So that means we take our distance, we divide it by our total time, and we find our speed value. And that's going to be our average speed in this scenario. It is given that it takes 30 seconds to complete the course. We already calculated the distance in number 1 to be 30, So we do 30 over 30, and we find the average speed. And we also always have to look at our units. Here we're given meters, and we're given seconds here. We know it's distance over speed, so our distance is in meters, over our time, because it's distance over time, which is in seconds. So our unit is going to be meters per second, also known as m over s. So now let's go ahead and do the actual math. It's given that time is 30 seconds, and the distance we calculated to be 30. So we have 30 meters over 30 seconds. This means that the average speed is 1 meter per second, which is the answer to number 3, 1 meter per second. Finally, we have number 4, which says to find the average velocity. Well, a lot of people get velocity and speed confused, and some people think that they're the same thing. The difference between speed and velocity is dealing with displacement instead of distance. So it's just displacement over time equals velocity. That's the main difference, and hopefully you guys don't get it confused. We know our displacement was 2 square roots of 61. So we have 2 square roots of 61 divided by our time, which was the same time, 30 seconds. So we have 2 square roots of 61 over 30. We're still doing meters over seconds since displacement is measured in meters and time is still measured in seconds. So we have 2 square roots of 61 meters over 30 seconds. And that just simplifies down to square root of 61 over 15 meters per second. And that is our velocity. So we have square root of 61 over 15. And always want to add your units, meters per second. And those are our final answers. I hope this review helped. And again, I'll be continuing this review for other topics in physics. If you guys have any specific requests, please feel free to leave them in the comments below. I hope you guys are having a great summer and stay safe. Thank you.